Becerra was a lonely, ugly bastard whose life became more useless than dog poop after he and his father were exiled from their village for sending almost everyone to Nirvana. However, it all changed when his father suddenly came home with two demon girls with level 10J to be his sisters, and he started to call them just after his father introduced the two girls. Becerra woke the next morning to two large cannons staring down at him. Being in such a position was giving him a hard time in more ways than one. So he tried adjusting himself but accidentally pushed her over and fell on top of her heavenly pillows. However, Mio got pissed to the cultured idiot and kicked his baby-making factory before walking out of the room. Later that morning, Becerra headed downstairs and found Maria making breakfast. He was shocked to see her in sauce clothing and wondered if his stepsisters were on a mission to seduce him to death. Shortly afterward, they had a group photo. Even though Becerra was quite reluctant, he had no option but to be involved in the family photo with the two psychotic chicks. A few minutes later, Becerra and Mio dropped by the mall for some grocery shopping, and just as Becerra went to get the bike, Mio was attacked by some delinquents who wanted to have fun with her. As they harassed her, Becerra intervened and demanded they have fun with their hands instead, which infuriated the thugs. They immediately moved to smash, but he countered the attack using his bicycle's tire to hit one of the thugs' disgusting faces and then sprayed pepper on the eyes of the rest. Just then, he grabbed Mio and pedaled the bicycle away from the scene. Realizing the dude actually saved her and acted like a big brother she never had, Mio thanked him and apologized for her rude actions from earlier. However, Becerra told her since they would be living together, it was best they start helping each other and become a family little by little. Later that night, Jean informed Becerra that he would be going overseas for a freelance job and urged him to take care of the family as the oldest son. As soon as he left, Becerra, who went outside to bid him a safe journey, entered the house and felt something wasn't right. Suddenly, the lights went out, so he headed to the room to look for his stepsisters. He noticed something was off about the crazy girls, and they were acting weird. Just then, Mio ordered him to leave the house, but as he declined her order, Maria blasted him with an energy blast that sent him dashing against the wall and hugging the ground. At that moment, he wondered what in a Looney Tunes was going on, and just then Maria transformed into a little elf demon with long tails. She informed him that they were demons and that Mio was the demon lord. She further revealed that the clan of gods and heroes were their sworn enemies. Before she could say any more, Mio jumped in and told Becerra that they were taking over the house. She added that the house would serve as their demon base in the human world. However, the revelation seemed unbelievable to Becerra, who asked them what would happen to the marriage between his father and her mother. Mio disclosed that the marriage was all a fraud, as Jin's memories had been altered. It was now his turn to get his memories fried. Right then, amidst a blinding light, Maria thought she had erased the dude's memories, but was shocked when Becerra Una reversed the situation and began to switch positions like Flash, which stunned the sisters. Realizing the memory-erasing magic didn't work, Maria tried blasting him with mystic energy, but Becerra deflected the attack by summoning his Metal Gear sword. Becerra then revealed that he was a member of the Hero Clan, which shocked the girls because they assumed that the Hero Clan was far away in a hidden village. At that moment, Becerra's metal sword began to emit a fiery flame, and he thought of ending their miserable, deceptive lives, but as he charged at them, he rethought and decided to spare their pathetic lives. He asked them to leave the house and never show their ugly faces anywhere near him or Jean. Following this incident, Becerra called Jean and told him exactly what went on in his absence, and Jean disclosed that he had known about it but just played along pretending to have his memories wiped. He revealed to Becerra that Mio was the only daughter of the demon lord Wilbert, who put an end to the long battle between the demons and the hero clans with his immense powers. However, after all he did, the warlike demons who hated the truce came after his throne, and to keep the threat from coming after his newborn child, he gave the child to humans to raise. On the other hand, Mio and Maria regretted their actions for behaving like insensitive jerks and decided to stop lying to people. Just as they were about to turn a new leaf, they were attacked by phantom mist demons. Meanwhile, Becerra was told by Jean that Wilbert, Mio's father, died, and the present demon lord wanted Mio's great power that she inherited from her father. Simultaneously, the mist demon rained several mist energies on Mio and Maria, which they evaded, and Mio counters by blasting the demon. Meanwhile, Becerra, after hearing all Jean had to say, regretted his harsh actions of sending his stepsisters out of the house, so he jumped on his bicycle and searched for them in the city. At the same time, Mio blasted the demons away with mystic energy, but just as they thought it was all over, a mist demon appeared behind Mio and fired at her with electricity that sent her flying like a useless Barbie doll. Mio thought it was the end for her, and there was no way in hell she would escape, cementing herself to Mother Earth. That instant, Becerra, who had discovered their location, saw her flying without wings, and the flashback of their brief time together began to flood his memories. So he pulled the stunt only Tom Cruise could do and caught her midair, but soon realized that the mist demon was fast approaching. However, he sliced its weak ass in a single slash. As the dust settled, he showed the girls the family portrait and told them they were family, and he couldn't abandon them. Later that night, Maria inquired why Becerra, a member of the hero clan, had saved them. He enlightened her that Jean had explained the situation they were in to him, which shocked Maria that the old man knew everything after all and had just played with them like toys. Meanwhile, Mio, who had just finished having her bath, brooded over the incident. She thought that if Becerra had not done this in a timely manner, she would have been dining with Lucifer in hell. Shortly afterward, Maria informed Mio that they needed allies to fight the war with the warlike demons, and since Becerra and Jean had offered their help, it was the wisest decision to accept their kindness. She further revealed that she had a proposal that involved Becerra and Mio weaving a master-servant pact magic. She disclosed that those whose souls are bound by the pact are able to sense each other and can pinpoint their location. However, Becerra felt it was a stupid idea, as a GPS on a cell phone was built for just that. Maria disclosed that the pact magic could only be done on a full moon, and they had to commence immediately before the moon went down. As they commenced, Mio informed Becerra that he had to kiss the magic circle that appeared on the back of Mio's hand so he could be the servant and her the master. Shockingly, the magic circle appeared on Becerra's hand, which shocked them. So Maria asked Mio to kiss his hands, but she declined, being a slave to the disgusting loser. At that moment, the magic circle disappeared, but the pact had already been formed, which resulted in a slave collar appearing around Mio's neck. In a matter of seconds, Mio had a seizure and fell to the ground, seeing Mio on the ground. Maria informed Becerra that the curse had taken effect, but he didn't know what the hell the miniature Barbie was yapping about, so she explained that when a servant became rebellious to her master, the curse activated, and since Mio refused to kiss his disgusting hands, the curse activated. She further revealed that the curse is alleviated when the master makes the servant submit, so she asked Becerra to touch Mio in a way that would make her submit, as that was the only way to relieve her from the painful effect of the curse. Upon hearing this, the creep immediately played with her plots. He moved his hands like a pro, round about her huge melons like they were steering wheels, which relieved her and broke the curse. The next morning, Becerra followed Mio to her school and enrolled as a new student. After introducing himself in class, the useless teacher appointed a blue-haired girl named Nanica to take care of Becerra. Just as the teacher left the class, Nanica approached Becerra and gave him a hug, which shocked everyone. He thought the girl must be an asylum patient, but realized she was Yuki, his childhood friend. On the other hand, Mio, on seeing the blue-haired girl hug Becerra, got salty, so she moved in, yelled at Nanica to leave her man alone, and separated them from the intense hug. The two girls soon began to fight over the Prince Charming, which made all the losers in the school envious of Becerra, as they wished to be in his shoes. Shortly afterward, during lunch, a random dude named Takaya approached Becerra, and they soon became buds. Becerra opened up to him that the guys in the class were looking at him in a weird way, and Takaya responded, telling him that he had made enemies of the entire school, not just in class, which stunned Becerra. He further revealed that both Mio and Yuki were the school's Paris Hilton, and Becerra was a top G to have both hot baddies trip over his rod. He added that the boys in the school hated Becerra because they were envious of his aura and chadly behavior. At the end of the school day, while Becerra and Mio walked home, they were approached by Yuki, who demanded she'd talk with Becerra alone in private. They went to the nearest coffee shop to talk, and then she revealed to him that he had changed and was not the same simp she used to know. Yuki added that 5 years ago, when they were kids, she would hug him and he would reciprocate and even go as far as squeezing her rice cakes, but now he was too much of a Chad to hug her back. Just then, she delivered a shocker and warned him to stop associating with Mio. She further revealed that the hero clan from the village had sent her to observe Mio. Becerra informed her that he already knew all about Mio's story and that she was a demon. However, Yuki revealed that he alone cannot protect Mio and defeat the demons after her. Still, Becerra responded, telling her that the demons were after the powers lurking inside Mio, and he didn't need to win but just to fend them off. Just then, Yuki summoned her sword and slashed a demon behind Becerra, and then informed him that if Mio's existence started causing danger to her surroundings, the village would mark her for elimination, and when that happened, she wouldn't be able to show mercy. Later that night, Basara explained the situation to his sisters to clear things up with Mio's jealousy of Yuki. Hearing all he had to say, Maria then suggested he strengthen his bond of trust with Mio so she would stop suffering from jealousy. In order to strengthen the bond, she instructed they have a shower plot. As soon as they began getting cultured, the dude nearly had a heart attack from too much excitement. So he informed the thirsty girls that he was too hungry and didn't have the strength for this type of activity. The following day in school, Basara slept in class after hammering all night. However, he was jerked from slumberland by Takaya, who informed him that the teacher wanted him and Yuki to visit the faculty office for the summer break assignment. Seeing Basara and Yuki spend time together made Mio extremely jealous, and she felt she couldn't trust Basara enough, so her slave collar began to glow, and she became dizzy and passed out. Basara grabbed her and rushed her to the infirmary. On getting to the infirmary, the hot nurse named Hasegawa informed Basara that Mio had anemia and needed a bit of rest. The weird nurse then informed Basara that he needed to build up quality allies and also consider who his allies and enemies were when he acted. Shortly afterward, Basara, while getting a drink from the vending machine, was approached by Takaya, who asked him if he had seen any monster lurking around, but Basara responded by telling him the only monster he had seen was him with his haunting face. However, the dude kept rambling on. Basara didn't have time for his useless talk and decided to ditch him. Suddenly, there was a complete blackout, and Basara noticed demons emerging from the hall at the same time. In the infirmary, Mio wakes up to find Yuki, who demands that they talk. Simultaneously, Basara faced off with the demons, slashing them like cabbage with his sword, and immediately dashed to the infirmary to check on Mio. On getting to the infirmary, he didn't find her, so he decided to look for her and scan the entire school. Meanwhile, as Yuki and Mio talked on the rooftop, Yuki ordered her to leave Basara, but Mio declined, insisting they were a family, and Basara had vowed to protect her. Hearing her words angered Yuki, who summoned her energy saber and then blasted her with mystic energy, which Mio parried. Just then, Mio launched a vortex at her, and the two began attacking each other. After a while of fighting, Yuki halted the fight and informed Mio that Basara found it difficult even to wield the sword, and that letting him fight for her was cruel. She added that 5 years ago, in order to save the Hero clan village, Basara evacuated half the population of the village, which was the reason why Jean and Basara were exiled from the Hero village. Meanwhile, Basara, who was still searching for Mio, decided to use the Master Servant Pack GPS to locate her. On getting the location, he dashed to the rooftop and found the girls charging at each other. He immediately scolded them for being morons and engaging in a pointless fight. Right then, Takao appeared above them, donning an evil mask, and revealed that he was the mastermind behind the demons who appeared in school. He further revealed to Mio that Basara had been fighting demons every night till dawn for her sake, and that's why the dude had been dozing off in class. That instant, Basara had heard enough, so he unleashed his energy saber and jumped high to annihilate the scrawny, ugly dude, but Akigawa slashed him before he could even get to him. Before Basara could regain his composure from the attack, Takigawa summoned a demon behind Mio. As the demon tried impaling her with his sword, Basara intercepted the attack and got impaled instead, splattering blood everywhere. Seeing Basara injured, Yuki became enraged and sliced the demon. She immediately charged at Takigawa and tried attacking him, but he evaded her attack. At that moment, Takao mocked Mio, telling her Basara got severely injured as a result of her decision. He informed her that involving others in her fight would only get more people hurt. Later that night, the girls treated Basara at home, and Mio couldn't stop thinking about what Takigawa had mentioned, so she excused herself and left her room. Shortly afterward, Basara became conscious, which made Maria wonder how he could recover so fast and thought he was the bravest man alive, but so was the cameraman. However, Basara revealed to her that he could be so strong because of the rigorous training he had to endure in the village. Still, in the feeling, he decided to tell her the story of his life years ago. He was the strongest and brightest star in his village, but one day while they were training, they got a message from one of the villagers that Sito had taken the sacred sword from a fellow villager. He added that the dude had been possessed and planned on attacking the village. Moments later, Sito attacked the village and even went after the children. Just as the deranged maniac was about to end Yuki, little Basara interrupted with his immense power. He caused a powerful explosion that vanquished the enemy and destroyed the ground. Basara was worried sick about Mio, so Maria suggested she look for her. On getting to her room, she discovered the nutcase wasn't there and had escaped. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Mio linked up with Takigawa in a bid to fight her battles alone and not keep hurting people. That instant, she tried fighting the masked creep by hurling energy blasts at him, but her attacks were useless as Takigawa summoned a mighty fiery shield that deflected all her attacks. Realizing she was weak and couldn't defeat Takigawa, she decided to give up and surrender, pleading with him not to lay a hand on Basara and the others. So Takigawa bound her hands using an evil mist and was about to teleport her to the demon realm, but suddenly he was hit by a mystic energy slash. Right then, Yuki appeared and started to slash him with her blade. She unleashed her hero armor suit and lunged forward with her oppression. She slashed at him multiple times. Even though he created a spiritual barrier that blocked all her attacks, in a last-ditch effort, she slashed, and the barrier shattered, leaving the freak open and vulnerable. He wondered how she was able to destroy the barrier, and she told him she had slashed multiple times at a particular spot, which made the barrier weak. On hearing her, he felt Yuki was a badass. As she was about to land the final blow that would give him a permanent residence in hell, Takigawa narrowly evaded the attack and leapt to a tall building. At that moment, Takigawa decided to launch his oppression campaign, so he blasted Yuki with electricity and unleashed spheres of energy blast that rained on her. With all the attacks she had managed to endure, she became exhausted but determined to keep fighting. Takigawa, hoping to bring an end to the fight, summoned a mighty sphere of energy blast and hurled it at Yuki. That instant, she saw her life flash before her eyes, but Basara arrived just in the nick of time to save her, and using his blade, he vanquished the mighty sphere. Just then, Basara charged at the nuisance, but Takigawa fired another mighty sphere, and Basara sliced the sphere using the banishing shift technique that renders all forms of attack meaningless. Basara was finally able to shatter the sphere, which gave Takigawa a total shock. Even though the attack injured him, Basara charged at Takigawa and unleashed a barrage of attacks at him. Still, Takigawa managed to evade his attack and summoned balls of energy blasts, which he fired at him. Basara slashed through the balls and attacked him, but wouldn't stop rambling, so Basara yelled at him to shut his disgusting mouth. In a turn of events, Takigawa grabbed Basara's neck, but Maria materialized from nowhere and landed a powerful blow that shattered his defense mechanism, leaving him open and vulnerable. Basara utilized the opportunity and sliced his guts multiple times, which neutralized the threat temporarily and freed Mio from the mist shackles on her arms. Just as they thought it was all over, a phantom mist demon appeared behind them in a split second and stabbed Basara in the guts. Thinking her plot master had finally met his demise, Mio screamed in rage and unleashed her dormant powers, vanishing the phantom mist demons instantly. Basara realized Mio was finding it difficult to control her powers, so before she blew herself up, he decided to help her. Even though she insisted he save himself, he used the banishing shift technique to discern the root of the power going out of control with the hope of eliminating it. So he blasted and freed her from the overwhelming power. Several weeks later, they recovered from the injuries sustained and went back to school. That afternoon in school, Basara met up with Takigawa on the rooftop, but the idiot was acting all cool, not knowing Basara could smell his disgusting evil aura and had seen through his masked disguise. Even when Basara revealed that he knew Takigawa was the masked freak that attacked them, he tried denying it. To prove it, Basara tried punching him, but he disappeared and appeared in split seconds. Realizing his cover was blown, he asked Basara what he wanted to do now. Basara informed him he wanted to negotiate since the demon lord sent Takigawa to monitor Mio, which he had failed completely at and blown his cover. They would need to work together, he got to keep his job, and the acting demon would not get to know that he was a miserable failure, which Takigawa agreed to temporarily. As Takigawa left the rooftop, Mio stormed in and thanked Basara for saving her life with a kiss. Before he could exchange saliva with her, Yuki held him back and told Mio to stop behaving like a cheap underdog. At that moment, the two desperate chicks began to fight, and Maria soon joined them. The following day, Basara woke up feeling something seize down there. Then he saw Maria in her birthday suit playing with his willy. He yelled at her, but when she wouldn't listen, he pushed her off and headed to the bathroom to make the early morning deposits, only to find Mio taking a bath. On seeing him, she screamed, but he quickly held her mouth. However, he suddenly tripped and fell with Mio on top of him in a two-directional sauce position. Realizing that the tension between them was uncontrollable, Basara suggested they only use the Master-Servant Pact when necessary, to which Mio agreed. However, she thought it best to electrocute his ass for dashing into the bathroom and invading her privacy. Shortly afterward, Basara finally had a peaceful moment away from all the thirsty traps all over the house. Just then, he felt someone caressing his hair, and as he turned, he found her member number 3 in the bathroom, ready to develop plot. However, Basara was tired of dishing out such content, so he asked her to leave, but she refused and pulled out her plot armor, insisting the show must go on. Suddenly, Mio came knocking on his room door because she heard happy noises coming from his room. After a while of knocking with no response, she dashed into the room and then inside the bathroom to find the uncensored scene. She immediately became furious and moved to electrocute the cheating bastard finally, but suddenly she felt the intense plotting that overwhelmed her any time she thought of hurting Basara. Later that day, Basara and Takigawa had lunch, and he revealed to him that Jin, his father, was famous in the demon realm. He further revealed that his father was the reason why the former demon Lord Wilbert had withdrawn the troops. He feared his monstrous strength in combat. Takigawa also informed him that he got information that the demon lord was sending reinforcement for observation since they hadn't heard from him. He added that the demon lord assumed that Mio had awakened the previous demon lord's powers. Just then, their conversation was interrupted by Hasegawa, who insisted on joining the boys for lunch. While they ate lunch together, she revealed that she knew Basara's father, and she was a massive fan of his photo collection. Later that evening, Basara walked home with Hasegawa, and she started giving him a pep talk about loyalty and demons. Suddenly, she placed his fat head on her huge pillows, making Basara wonder why only psychotics were attracted to him. The following day, Takigawa encountered an ugly Thanos rip-off demon called Valga, who disclosed to him that the demon lord sent him also to observe the target, hinting at Mio. A few seconds later, another female demon named Zest with cannons the size of Takigawa's head emerged from a portal and revealed to him that she had come to also observe the situation of things on orders of the Majesty. Before long, the heroes of justice arrived in town with a mandate from the village to upgrade the target from observation to elimination, hinting at Mio. The following day at the mall, while on a date with Yuki, they were interrupted by Mio and Maria. On seeing Mio, Yuki asked for help in choosing the perfect outfit since she was a village girl who hadn't been keeping up with the Kardashians, so Mio helped her select a few outfits which she loved. Shortly afterward, they head outside the mall after a long day of shopping, but they couldn't find Yuki and stood outside the mall wondering where the pantomime might have gone. Suddenly, they noticed the sky changed color, and in the blink of an eye, they were attacked by a powerful vortex that nearly ended their worthless lives. Right then, they were faced with Valga, who was ready to annihilate them. On seeing the uglier version of Thanos, Basara charged at him, but his attack was as useless as Maria's turf her body. Valga threatened to break every bone in their bodies and started to overwhelm them. Just as he was ready to punch Basara out of existence, he was stabbed with an ice blade that turned him into a useless snowman, shattering him completely. At that moment, Basara noticed the presence of the heroes of justice and wondered why they left the village. Shiba, one of the heroes, responded and revealed to him that they were sent on the order of the village. Afterwards, Kurumi, one of the heroes and sister of Yuki, then called Basara a traitor for protecting the demon lord's daughter. Takashi, the third member of the Power Rangers ripoff, disclosed to Basara that the village had upgraded Mio to a mid-class target for elimination. After listening to all they had to say, Basara asserted that he would protect Mio even if it meant going against the village. Upon hearing this, the Hero League resolved to attack, but Shiba broke the barrier covering the space, informing them they couldn't fight just yet because the barrier was weak and the fight would definitely lead to destruction in the city. He assured Basara that a stronger barrier would be created in a week's time, and then they could have their fight. Days later, Basara and the girls trained with great intensity for the upcoming battle against the heroes of justice, and Maria revealed that with the BYO spear in Takashi's possession, it would be difficult to defeat them. At the same time, Kurumi and Yuki had a discussion. Kurumi was pissed with her that she had forgotten her mission and grown fond of the target, hinting at Mio. She explained that the village's decision was final, and she had to choose between the village or Basara. After a long training day, Basara was exhausted and opted to save the show's budget, but the girls had vowed to exhaust the show's budget with plenty of saucy scenes. Mio approached Basara and pointed out how he and Mio needed to grow the Master-Servant Pact by cultivating plot to enable them to grow stronger. But Basara chose to be a top G and yelled at her that he couldn't go all the way with Mio because she was his sister. However, the short schemer thought his words were useless, so she inclined him to load his shotgun and change his mind. After several hours of intense workout, Basara decided that one more simp moment wouldn't hurt anyone, so he launched further into the deep later that night. The following day in school, Basara encountered Yuki in the hallway, and she begged him to withdraw from the fight with the heroes of justice. Upon hearing her, Basara declined and explained to her that he had a duty to protect Mio as her brother. His words angered Yuki, so she made her decision to fight for the heroes of justice and ditch his simp ass. Later that night, Basara and the girls arrived at the location of the battle and found Shiba and the heroes team already present, ready for the battle. At that moment, using the power of the BYO, Takashi cast a barrier to prevent interference. The fight commenced with both parties attacking each other. Basara fought against Kurumi, while Maria and Mio fought with Takashi. A few minutes into the fight, Maria and Mio lured Takashi to a secluded place, and Maria delivered a stunning kick that sent him flying. She didn't end there. She continued her onslaught, which Takashi evaded effortlessly with a high jump. He attacked her with a BYO, but she managed to block the strike. Just then, Takashi unleashed the power of the BYO that impacted Maria and sent her smashing to the roof. Seeing Maria being beaten like a useless thief, Mio cast a spell that burst the building's drainage system, and the whole place became flooded. Meanwhile, Basara continued to evade Kurumi's attack and tried landing an attack of his own, but she created a mighty shield, and upon impacting the shield, Basara was sent crashing to the wall of the building. That instant, Kurumi approached him and told him to fight his best, as the village would never reconsider their move to exile him after he evacuated half the population of the village years back. But before she could complete her statement, Basara used the power of the banishing shift and landed a strike that hit her. As Kurumi fell down the building from the impact of Basara's attack, Basara caught her in midair and prevented her from hugging the ground. Just then, Basara sighted Yuki, who drew her sword and charged at him, hitting him in the face with the hilt of her sword. While he lay on the ground, Yuki inserted a sleeping potion in his mouth to put him out of action. On the other hand, the sisters thought the flooded water would hold Takashi for a while, but were shocked when a rippling effect drained the water out of the building and Takashi emerged. Takashi, wielding the baka, resolved to end the lives of the girls and unleash the power of the spear to rip them apart. Just as he thought the girls had been eliminated, he found the menace outside the building fleeing, so he ran after them and continued to overwhelm them until Yuki, who had switched allegiance back to Basara, came and defended the girls. Shortly afterwards, Mio found Basara unconscious in the arm of Kurumi, and Kurumi explained that Basara had been given a sleeping potion and had drifted to Slumberland. So Mio tried waking up the heavy sleeper, and just when she thought it was impossible, the dude was jerked back to the present. At the same time, Takashi and Yuki continued to exchange attacks, and just when Takashi overwhelmed her and was ready to land the final strike that would send her to Nirvana, Basara appeared just in the nick of time to save her. The two dudes soon began fighting, with Basara attacking at sonic speed, which Takashi parried with great effort. Just then, the BYO shield activated auto-defense due to the multiple attacks it had deflected. The shield exploded, sending Takashi crashing to the ground, transforming into its true form, a giant white magical tiger. Realizing the tiger might explode and destroy the city, the team decided to attack and vaporize it. So Yuki attacked and brought down the tiger's shield, and using the banishing shift, Basara completely vaporized the BYO tiger. As the dust settled, Takashi received a face-resetting slap from Mio for being an insensitive jerk and for trying to eliminate his friends because of a stupid cause. Meanwhile, Shiba, who had been watching the fight outside the barrier, informed the heroes squad that the mission had been temporarily withdrawn. Upon hearing this, the team stopped the fight and headed home, taking Yuki along. Several weeks later, Basara felt Yuki's absence from school, and Mio noticed how sad he had been since Yuki had left. The following day, Basara woke up, and as he headed to get breakfast, he found Yuki making breakfast, which stunned him. He wondered how she was able to leave the village and return, so she informed him that the elders of the village chose to pretend the recent events never happened. She further revealed that the elders of the village received a call from Jean that prompted them to call off the entire mission. Upon hearing that, Basara wondered what kind of deal Jean must have struck with the elders to have called off the mission. A few minutes later, Mio and Maria entered and found the person in a saucy position, so Mio yelled at Yuki and asked her why she was in the house. Yuki informed her that she had received permission from the elders to start living with them, which gave the sisters a total shock. Shortly afterwards, the short nutcase announced that she had a new anime she would love them to watch together, so everyone gathered in the living room to see the latest anime. But the evil brat showed them a video of Basara and Mio developing plot. Upon seeing the video, Mio became enraged and strangled her small neck, while Yuki felt Mio had been enjoying it for too long, and now it was her turn, so she decided to form a master-servant pact with Becerra. Her decision made Maria excited, as she would get to record more plot-filled videos, so she informed Yuki that she would help her form the pact on the next full moon, which was the next day. Later that day in school, Becerra noticed Maria inside the school compound and concluded that the short-cultured girl definitely had an evil agenda, so he trailed her. He soon found her sneaking into the class and asked her why she was in school, so she explained that she was worried about Mio's safety. Throughout that day in school, Mio and Yuki had bad energies, as Mio was jealous that Yuki was going to form a master-servant pact with her boo. Meanwhile, Becerra and Maria walked around the school like jobless fugitives, and they finally found themselves in the girls' changing room. Noticing some movement in the changing room, they decided to hide inside Mio's locker to prevent being caught. Inside the locker, Maria took undue advantage of the opportunity and cultivated a massive plot with Becerra. A few minutes later, Mio arrived in the changing room, and as she opened her locker, she found the disgusting nut jobs having a fun time inside, which stunned her, so she closed the locker to avoid attention from the other random girls. After the side characters left the changing room, she demanded the mental case and the creep come out of the locker. As they came out, she asked for an explanation from the freaks, but before they could explain, the master-servant curse overwhelmed her and caused her to experience intense plot cravings, so to counter the effect of the curse, Maria suggested that Becerra go all rough with Mio this time so as to enhance his combat capabilities. So Bro took her to the shower and developed plot with her again, instantly enhancing their combat abilities. At the end of the school day, the team couldn't find Maria, so Becerra went in search of her and suddenly saw her having a conversation with the cow. Curious, he dashed to know what the demons might be planning, but he arrived late as the discussion was over. As they walked home, Becerra asked Maria what the discussion she had with the cow was all about, but she evaded the question and changed the topic. Meanwhile, somewhere in the demon's lair, Zest played videos of Mio and Becerra together, and Zalgia, an obnoxious demon, got enraged that the spike head was hammering the woman he was attracted to, hinting at Mio under the disguise of a master-servant pact. The following night, the master-servant pact between Yuki and Becerra commenced, and just then the magic circle appeared on Becerra's hand, but Yuki refused to kiss because she wanted Becerra to dominate her like he does to Mio. In a matter of seconds, the magic circle disappeared, and then the slave collar appeared on Yuki's neck, finalizing the master-servant pact. Noticing Yuki was experiencing intense plot cravings while Becerra caressed her plot and rice cakes, which made her scream loud. The following day in school, while Becerra wore his uniform in the men's changing room after the volleyball session, Sakaki, a fellow student and Mio's friend, suddenly stormed into the room and demanded he had another volleyball session with her using her balls. Realizing the dude was hesitant, the depraved, freaky girl pounced on him and started to undress. However, Yuki and Mio entered the room to find their man being ravaged. Mio leaves, but Yuki attacks the girl with Sakaki, who could see her hero blade. So Yuki instructed Becerra to go after Mio and leave the freak to her. As she moved to attack, another student came in to join the fight against Yuki. Meanwhile, as Mio fled, the curse suddenly activated, which made her exhausted. Then Maria approached her in disguise to help her. Suddenly, Zest materialized before their eyes, and before Becerra could get to them, Zest opened a portal and teleported them to the demon lair. That moment, Becerra tried using the Master-Servant Pact to pinpoint Mio's location, but realized it wasn't working and only showed him Yuki's location. Several hours later, Mio, who was unconscious, woke up to find herself in the demon lair, and just then Zest approached her, telling her she had been captured. At that moment, Zalgia walked in, and on seeing the demon who executed her earthly parents, Mio became enraged. The freaky demon moved into play with Mio's huge melons, but Maria interrupted and told Zalgia that the demon Lord Leohart was on a call in a magical orb. On receiving the call, Leohart spoiled his fun moment and ordered him to return to the royal castle for an assignment. At the same time, Becerra linked up with Takigawa and asked for his help to locate Mio, who had been captured. However, Takigawa informed him that Maria had been a traitor all this while and was working for Zalgia to capture Mio. He further revealed that Zalgia captured Maria's mom, forcing her to work with him. On hearing this, Becerra became furious and insisted Takigawa disclose Mio's location. However, Takigawa declined, which prompted Becerra to attack him. Takigawa countered his attack and teleported him to the demon lair. Unconscious, Zest approached Takagawa, so he proposed a deal exchanging Becerra for Mio, but Zest couldn't care less about what he wanted and then stab his gut with her sharp claws, eliminating him instantly. At that moment, Zest teleported Becerra, who was still unconscious, into the mansion. Maria was stunned, so Zest instructed her to subdue him and dominate his heart. A few minutes later, Becerra regained consciousness to find himself tied to the bed in a room. As he wondered what was going on, he found Maria, who jumped on him and insisted they develop a plot since it was his final moment on Earth. As she was about to commence, Becerra enlightened her that he was aware of her mom's entrapment and that he would do all in his might to get her released. Hearing his words angered her as she felt no one could possibly help her now, so she unlocked her trump card and transformed from being flat like the latest iPhone to a chick with level 10 gene. At that moment, she hypnotized him, and they commenced hammering. After several minutes of intense smooching, the delusion faded away, and Becerra was back to his usual self. Becerra then summoned his blade and stuck it to the ground, crashing the entire cloaking barrier in the mansion and making it visible to Yuki, who had been searching for the hidden location. Becerra tried saving Maria, but she felt he was too ugly to save her, so she beat him senseless. Shortly afterwards, Yuki entered the mansion and attacked Zest, who evaded her attack and countered it with her own attack. Just then, Yuki used her sword to destroy the chains holding Mio hostage, and the ladies began to unleash barrages of attacks on Zest. After several attacks, they managed to subdue Zest and bound her with magic ropes. Just when they thought all was good, Zalgia arrived and cast a spell that restrained their bodies. At that moment, the Golden Ugly became angry at Zest because he had been reading her thoughts and discovered she wanted a young man like Becerra to be her master and not an old ugly freak like him, so he summoned chains that bound her by the neck and choked the life out of her. Just as she was about to meet her doom, Becerra, who had managed to put Maria under control, unleashed a banishing shift that canceled Zalgia's magic and freed Zest. That instant, Becerra charged at Zalgia, but his attack was useless, and Zalgia cast his men's bondage magic on Becerra. Zalgia then approached Becerra with the intent of stealing his powers, but Becerra struggled and broke free from the bondage, stunning Zalgia. Becerra immediately launched an offensive, attacking Zalgia with relentless strikes, but Zalgia effortlessly blocked all his attacks. Undeterred, Becerra continued to unleash a flurry of assaults, yet Zalgia evaded them with ease and retaliated, punching Becerra to the ground and causing him to spew blood. At that moment, Zalgia levitated midair and summoned the flames of hell, directing them at Becerra. Becerra then countered with his banishing shift, but the impact exploded in his face. Despite the powerful attacks, Becerra refused to back down, relentlessly pressing his attack against Zalgia. However, Zalgia remained unfazed, parrying each of Becerra's strikes. Suddenly, Zalgia cast a powerful spell that sent Becerra crashing into a wall. Zalgia attempted to dominate Becerra's mind, but Becerra resisted fiercely. That instant, Maria intervened, trying to assist Becerra, but Zalgia cruelly showed her a video of her imprisoned mother, attempting to manipulate her emotions. He insisted that she join his harem along with the other girls, but Maria defiantly responded that she would rather eat dog poop than be involved with his disgusting old self. Enraged, Zalgia showed her another video, this time of her mother's body ruptured inside the electromagnetic cell, sending Maria into shock. Seeing Maria's despair triggered terrible memories in Mio of her own deceased parents, unleashing the dormant powers she had inherited from her father, Wilbert. Noticing Mio's overpowering state, Zalgia attempted to absorb her energy, but the moment he touched her, the high voltage in her power nearly sent him to nirvana. Just as Mio prepared to end Zalgia's life, Becerra intervened, pleading with her to spare him. Reluctantly, Mio stopped showing mercy. Taking advantage of the situation, Zalgia teleported out of the building. As the dust settled and the team felt relieved to be alive, they were stunned when Maria's mother walked into the room. Meanwhile, outside the building, Zalgia encountered Takagawa, who was still alive, and revealed that he had tricked Zest into believing she had eliminated him when she had only destroyed a dummy. Takagawa explained that he was the one who freed Maria's mother from the electromagnetic cell. When Zalgia demanded to know Takagawa's intentions, Takagawa revealed that since Zalgia had killed Mio's earthly parents, whom he also considered his own due to their care at the orphanage, his only desire was to kill Zalgia with his own hands. Inside the building, Zest informed the group that Zalgia's zero-particle reaction surrounding the mansion had vanished. Suddenly, the mansion transformed into the stomach of a living creature, shocking everyone. They were immediately attacked by various creeping animals, which they slashed through, realizing they needed to escape. Zest revealed that they had to destroy the core of the creature, located at the center of its body. Viserys suggested that he go alone to destroy the core, but his loyal wives insisted on accompanying him despite the danger. Zest then led the way to the center, with Viserys and his wives following closely behind, leaving Maria and her mother behind. As they moved inside the gut of the beast, they encountered several creatures that they sliced. Zest then cast a magic spell that opened the guts of the beast, paving the way for them to get to the core. They finally arrived at creepy stairs, which started to move and suddenly transformed into a one-eyed creature and attacked them. Just then, Yuki instructed them to go without her so she could fend off the one-eyed creature. At that moment, Zest mentioned that the core was below, so she burst open the way leading them to the center below the core. Mio found a statue of a naked lady and wondered why it looked so much like Zest. As she stared at it, the statue came to life and attacked her. On seeing Mio being attacked by the statue, Viserys tried to defend her, and the statue attacked him as well. Just then, Zest cast a mighty spell that completely vanquished them. After that, the team moved further below, and they eventually found the core of the beast. That instant, Zest and Mio advanced to destroy the core, but the gut defense mechanism smacked them away. Realizing it would be difficult to destroy the core, Zest suggested she move further so the defense system would concentrate its attack on her alone, and Viserys could finally destroy the core. On hearing her suggestion, Viserys and Mio thought it was a very dangerous plan and tried stopping her from going, but she revealed to them that she wasn't human but just a magical organism created by Zalgia. However, Viserys tried talking to her not to act foolishly, but she insisted on moving ahead with a plan, which made Viserys regret making her the new hero. At that moment, she attacked the guts, and as a defense mechanism attacked her, Viserys leaped high and unleashed a banishing shift that utterly obliterated the core, destroying the beast in the process. Shortly afterwards, Zalgia was taken to a prison by Takagawa, who informed him that someone actually wanted to watch him die, and upon seeing Viserys enter, Zalgia was stunned. Just then, the old pathetic man started to beg for his worthless life, but Akigawa was tired of seeing his stomach-turning face, so he cast a spell that boiled his face amidst blood. Later that night, Viserys arrived home to find the ladies safe, and just then Yuki approached him and told him that even though they had managed to defeat Zalgia, more demons would continue to go after Mio's powers. After listening to her, he went to Mio's room to check up on her but ended up hammering her. Just then, they were interrupted by Yuki and Zest, who needed some of the action. Several weeks later, Leohart, the Demon Lord, got information about Zalgia's demise, and on getting to his throne, he found his security detail lying dead on the ground. Just then, he encountered Jean sitting on his throne. At that moment, Jean told him he had come to repay him for laying a hand on his son. Will Jean be able to eliminate Leohart, the Demon Lord, finally, or will more demons come from Mio's power?